Jeff, how's practice today?
It's good. I'm just glad to see you guys show up. I thought what's going on downtown. The Roadrunners might be forgotten about today. So, yeah, it was good. Very rarely you get to go out there and practice in all those clouds. And we had shortened some stuff anyway, just because we've been going so long and so hard. So they had a lot of juice. They were flying around, coming off the kickoff luncheon yesterday, which was a huge success for those guys. They had a big time seeing Jerry Rice, and they look forward to that event. They really do. You know, when you first do things like that, anything that's different, kids are always not so quick to adjust to it, but that's part of their schedule now. They look forward to it, and they're very grateful for Bob and Peggy for pulling that off and doing a great job doing it.
We look at that event as a fundraiser, but I think you forget the impact that it makes on your players. You had all your players around Jerry. He talked to them. What was his message?
Yeah, I've never even looked at it as a fundraiser, even though it is. You're exactly right. But all teams have kickoff luncheons. We were just creative in the way we thought of it, and used it as a way to make it a win-win for everybody in these new times. But yeah, that was Bob's idea. He wanted Emmitt Smith last year, and he got it, and he got Jerry Rice this year. And I thought it was cool how he let us vote for who we want to get next year. And I've had a lot of people give me their a vote, like I have some kind of way to sway the vote. So, yeah, it was awesome. Jerry Rice was great, gave him great advice, was very engaging, loved being with the kids, and really was great. Him and Emmitt both were fantastic. That was a special night. Can't tell you how many of my kids came up to me and said that's something they'll never forget the rest of their lives. And when you coach, that's why you do this stuff, for those kind of memories.
Jeff, how much are you guys looking at Texas A&M this week versus keeping the focus more internal and just kind of sharpening your own stuff?
No, we're straight A&M now. You're always working on your own self. But as far as the game plan, it's straight those guys.
You talked about wanting to come out of the gates sharper. Is there anything that you can point to that's different right now compared to this point a year ago? Anything that's kind of a different?
We practice a lot more. We're on pads a lot more. We're out there a lot longer. Today was a short practice, but it was still 2 hours. That used to be a normal practice for us. So that was an hour off of normal. So we've got a whole lot more reps, hoping that will expedite, the learning curve. As I've said many times before, though, I don't think, and you could correct me, Greg, since I've been here, I don't know if we've played anybody that has 4 records like all 4 of those teams have, and their composite record has to be the best record we've played since we've been here. I've not fact checked that. I don't remember us playing such a daunting schedule. So who knows what that'll look like? But we want to play good football.
Jeff, how's the leadership component of the team emerging at this point of preseason?
Well, it's like I told them, it's easy to be leaders right now. We're still undefeated, and it was 72 degrees today, or 76, and we'll see when we get hit in the mouth. And so far, so good. But what's Mike Tyson's quote, right? Everybody's got a plan until they get punched right in the freaking noodle.
Jeff, we've got Traylor coming in here today. What's your impression of just the progress he's made from the Angry Bird days to now he's a 2-0 guy?
Yeah, I call him the Wise Eagle now. So, yeah, he's come a long ways. It's funny that you said that. Other guys have been saying, Coach, you haven't called him Angry Bird in a long time. I said, well, he stopped acting that way. We got a couple more Angry Birds. We're trying to grow out of that right now. But he's a wise eagle. He's an older one. Been out here for a while. Really understands the culture. He's taken a deep dive in his faith. And, he's really proud of the fraternity he joined. That was a big adjustment for him in his life. And he's just maturing.
Did you see like a specific turning point for him, or does that just happen gradually over time?
He's so smart, you knew you had a chance to tie because you could speak to him on a level that was pretty deep. And I always knew it was in him, and it doesn't surprise me.
How about from a physical standpoint? I know you've talked about how a lot of guys have changed their bodies this offseason. Where is he in that perspective?
He's always been long, but he's just more powerful. He's quicker now, more sudden. I think you'll notice him more than you've noticed him. I really do.
I think this is the last time we're going to talk to you before game week. What's the overall status of the team's health at this point?
Yeah, we've gotten a little more nicked up than I'd like to here lately. We've avoided season-ending injuries, obviously except for RJ, the corner. But we're pretty nicked up right now in certain areas. There'll be game time decisions. few of them.
Coach, well, you guys get ready for the Aggies. Next week, there's another UT system program that's starting up football down in Edinburgh, Texas with UTRGV. And so what I'm curious to know is, do you think that recruiting South Texas and San Antonio will become a little bit more difficult, perhaps for you, with the UTRGV Vaqueros starting up next week?
Yeah, well, Travis, those guys, they hustle, they work hard. So, and they haven't been playing a schedule, so they've been out really recruiting their tails off. So they're probably ahead of us in some areas. They come up here and they practice, and we're good friends. And there's a lot of guys on that staff that we're good friends. And, you know, our quarterback's down there, Lee Marburger, who I'm very high on, excited for him and his family. Yeah, it's good for us all though when we're good. It's not what the UTSA fans want to hear, but it's just good for all of us when everybody in Texas is good. So anything we can do to help Travis, we'll be glad to do that, as we've done that, and we wish those guys the best of luck.
You mentioned your friendship with Travis. You guys are both former high school football coaches in the state of Texas, now running your own D1 programs. Do you think there's an inherent advantage for Texas University to hire a high school football coach to be a head coach at a D1 program as opposed to going out of state and getting someone else?
Well, the Texas High School Coaches Association is just so important, and you got to have inroads there. There are guys that have been successful without it, but it sure helps to have it. And if you ever lose the support of the THSCA, your tenure is going to be shortly ending pretty quickly. So any inroads you have to keep those guys happy, which is still winning football games, is always helpful. But you know, the THSCA does way more than just have power politically. They teach you how to treat children, and that's what they do the best of, is really indoctrinating us at a very young age of what this purpose of the game is to teach life. And so yeah, anybody that's a Texas high school coach, I'm gonna be a big supporter for them getting into the college world.
You talked to Travis in the last week or so ahead of his first ever game as a
I haven't,
coach?
not in a week or so. We text, but I haven't spoken to him. I'm always checking on Eddie via text and just making sure my guy's doing good. I want to see him do well. He deserves to do well. Stayed here and competed his tail off. And I've said it many times, Eddie is an example of why the transfer portal is good. That's why it was a good thing. Now it's got us all scared because our backup quarterback hadn't played a rep, and Eddie's played a lot of football. But still, the kid deserves an opportunity to start, and I hope he gets to do that from his grandfather and his family.
Jeff, first day of school is next week here?
Yep.
How much does your schedule and the operations of things change now
Yeah.
that school starts?
Drastically, you know, because you're backed into a schedule. You're working around classes. We've got some kids that get real degrees. So when you get the real degrees, those schedules aren't as flexible. If you get a degree like Jeff Traylor got, which is a fancy way to say PE, which is kinesiology, those classes are offered a little more flexible. But you're getting some of these degrees these kids are getting, you just got to work around schedules. And so it's just different. But it's good. We've had a good 3-week run here, and it's time to remind these guys that life's not just football. There's professors, there's students you go to school with, and there's classes and books and all that fun thing that you can't wait to get out of when you're their age, but it's good for them to do it.
All right, thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, Jeff.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
y'all.
Thank you, Coach.